Hi there. Welcome to our first ever C-Suite podcast. We are in Puyallup, Sumner Chamber of Commerce. My name is Doyle-Enneking. I am the CEO and president of the chamber, and this is a long-time vision coming true today. Our goal for this podcast is to work through our community and uncover some lessons learned of different C-suite executives. So, hey, we're going to want to hear from you to know who you want to hear from. And this interview is going to be a little different. We're going to have fun. I want to learn about their paths. I want to learn some fun stories. I want you all to get engaged with these folks that are often hidden behind the doors in their C-suite. So today, as we kick it off, I have Renee McClain.
Hello.
She is the CFO of the Washington State Fair. She was also just recently our board chair for the Puyallup Sumner Chamber of Commerce. She's a great friend. We ring twin as well. Look at that.
Meant to be.
Meant to be. An incredible mentor, incredible partner. And true with the podcast going forward, I will also always be inviting a guest host. So today, Renee is our guest host as we learn a little bit about your executive here at the Chamber. And that will be just providing a little bit of background of who I am, and hopefully you'll get a good taste of what these podcasts are going to look like going forward. So hey, buckle up, grab a glass of wine or water, whatever you like, because we are here to entertain. And let's kick this off, Renee.
All right, well, let's do it. So, Tara, what's your C-suite lowdown?
My C-suite lowdown. So 3 years ago, I have come into this great role, which I would say is my dream job. A fantastic woman called me, who is currently on the board.
Smart woman.
Looking for a CEO. They had been, with this organization, you had been without a CEO for quite a few months, and looking for just a different direction and kind of new life into this community, a new vision. And so I was really fortunate to have thought about a career change for myself. I was 18 years running a car dealership. From that experience, I was asked to be on the Tacoma Pierce County Chamber Board, where I got my first experience in the chamber world. From that, I also ended up running for city council and becoming the executive director of their business alliance, PAC. So a little bit of that, flexing that political advocacy muscle, got well-versed on planning events, doing programs. But more than anything, I just was really loving the idea that I wasn't at our office every day, the bell-to-bell grind of what retail can be 7 days a week. It was a whole new world out there when you look up and around in your community, and that's what the chamber brought to me. So very fortuitous to one day sort of have a thought that wouldn't it be nice to work in a chamber, and saw the role opening here at the Puyallup Sumner Chamber. So applied, and I know you probably know more from your side of that, what that looked like.
Yeah, so, it was pretty much a leap of faith for you to come into this organization at a time when we actually didn't have staff at that time. We had lost staff. The finances were not in the best shape. And so really we're not trying to sell you on a position that we knew what existed, but we knew the potential was out there. And that you actually took this position. But what has been the part of it that you thought, oh, this is exactly what I thought I was getting into, or this is nothing like I thought I was getting into?
Well, I was really grateful that I had a board that was very supportive of giving me a blank canvas, if you will. I definitely, being on the board of Tacoma, got a good look at what robust advocacy can look like, and a chamber operating on all cylinders, what it looks like. But I loved that I wasn't confounded to coming here and sort of being, I guess, voluntold on how and what I should do, that you really saw my strengths and what I brought to the table in these three areas of my networking, my ability to put on fundraising and events, to raise money for the chamber, and then also that political advocacy arm. And you gave me those wings and you gave me that space. So it's very much been what I was hoping for. And I'm grateful that I was allowed that, I guess, depth and breadth to do what I wanted to do here.
Yeah, it was one of those positions where I laughed when I'd say in the community, oh, Tara Doyle-Enneking has applied for the job, and they're like, okay, if you can get her, you absolutely need to go after her. So we were really lucky to get you.
Hot commodity.
Yeah, you were a hot commodity. So we are super excited to have had you at the chamber. And you as well have been my mentor in these past few years that we have worked together and also had some fun adventures together.
Yes, we have.
So you've kind of told us about your path to the C-suite, and kind of from your own small business and running that, and then getting involved at a level in the Tacoma Chamber. What do you love most about your job? And you might have answered that to some degree, but
yeah, well, first of all, I love that it's situated in these two communities that I didn't necessarily know a whole lot about. Puyallup and Sumner sort of have that nice Hallmark charm about it. I am a Hallmark Christmas movie girl. So I love that, being somewhat of an outsider, I certainly didn't feel like it. I was welcomed immediately with open arms, got to get ingrained in the community very quickly. But again, it's one of these environments with our other staff of 4 where we think it, we do it, and we have that ability to execute on it. So to me, that just keeps the wheels turning. No day is ever the same. The world is an endless of possibilities. We get to listen to what our members want and implement. We get to partner with other agencies and associations. So the thing I love most is that it's multifaceted and can go and grow in so many different directions. And even to the heights we've brought it, there's still so much more we can do. So I love all of those.
Yeah, and I know, one of the questions is, what do you believe you brought to this organization? And one of the things that I have watched you do over the past, few years is that, number one, you can't do it all on your own, regardless of how much energy that you have. And so watching you bring on and, develop a team, and being able to see the talent in people and to bring that out in people, has been one of the things that I, have seen, because when you have that synergism amongst your team, what you can accomplish is amazing. What other great accomplishments?
Well, that's probably nailing the first one off the bat, is assembling this team.
Yeah.
And really the way they've all come to us has been, a little bit of nepotism, a little bit of, who you know.
Like the fair.
like the fair. But a lot of it is that I've assembled, a group that I highly respect. They would say that it took me a little bit to relinquish control in different areas, and you just touched upon that, of how when you have a vision and you have an idea and you really want to push it out there, it's hard to let go of your baby in certain areas. But I think that that's what's actually been the most valuable thing I've learned in this last year, is that these women, this team, is just so competent, and I now feel like we are operating on all cylinders because I have let go a little bit, and the authority they're having and taking in each of their respective areas is really growing and bringing a different lens to the equation. 1 year ago, we had a staff retreat where I had all of us do our 16 personalities test, and quite often CEOs, I'm
have
told,
16 personalities, or just one personality?
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
Based on the Myers-Briggs personality assessment, a really fun assessment tool that's going around, and more and more organizations are using tools like that to work with their teams. At a small organization, it works really well. And I know that a lot of executives often will hire people just like them. And, that would certainly be to the detriment of a company to do that, no matter what a rock star that person was, because it is truly that diversity and the different lens and perspectives that folks bring to the table that can really make an organization so well-rounded. So what we learned with our 16 personalities, with our 5, five members, was that we all had very different personalities, and learning how we may now need to relate with one another, because we understand, by fact, Hannah is this way. By fact, Tara isn't the most empathetic person, so it's okay if she says something. There's a long story about empathy, but it really, and then some of our staff, I've really realized, they need that step by step. Give me an expectation, give me a deadline, tell me what you need with more direction, and I'm not that person. I'm here's my vision, let's go, here we go, come on, let's do it. And so I've had to learn that with some that can be very frustrating. And so part of this job that I love so much has been this leadership journey that I've been on myself, and recognizing, these holes and gaps that I need to work on, and having a staff that's flexible enough to be there with me as I'm, grappling with it. And I know they are too. So.
And I think that's it. Without awareness, there is no growth. So you've got, that step of awareness. And you and I, over the past few years, have, I know one of the things was you can do anything. And I've seen that in you. but should you be doing everything, and the why of doing everything, and really refining that has been fun to watch, and that has shown the success of the chamber in the last few years as well. So now let's just turn the pages a little bit and go back in time. What was your first job?
Oh gosh. My first job was working at Marine World Africa USA. I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up
Marine
in the
World in Africa. Okay.
Yeah, Marine World. It's where zoo-like animals are doing human-like behaviors.
Okay.
Lots of shows with animals. Also, a big water ski show that was very popular. A lot of corporations had their big company picnics, and I had to pretty much dress in a Holly Hobby outfit and serve beer at age 16 to corporate executives at their company picnic while the water ski show went on in the background. So it was a pretty cool thing. I was living in Sunnyvale, California. My best friend at the time, his name was Chris, and his mom would put us on a train from Sunnyvale early in the morning. On the way out, she was a flight attendant and had to leave out of San Francisco airport. Put us on a train to go to Redwood City, where Marine World Africa USA is. We'd get there far too early, so his grandma would pick us up. We'd go back to sleep for a couple hours on the sofa, and then go to Marine World Africa USA at our big job. And so stay the weekend, and then work on Sunday, and after work hit the water slides, and then take the train home. So it was kind of an adventure, and I think that's really set the tone for I need an adventure in my job
for the rest
of my life.
Yes,
water slides and
life
trains,
is an adventure.
planes.
And if it's not, move on.
Yeah.
So, who and why was your best and worst boss?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I have an obligation to say who two of my best ones are. I mean, my husband I worked for for 15 years, and I honestly, I will say I've certainly learned a lot from him. Technically, my board is my boss currently, so again, two of the bests. But ironically, my worst boss also had some best qualities, which I can't even believe I'm admitting, because he was so neurotic and crazy, and I just can't even believe some of the things this man got away with. But at the same time, he was so into his job, and he tried to just take it to a level. I was a high-tech recruiter, and he loved putting the folks in his office in an uncomfort zone, because he just felt that that's what your job was constantly. You're constantly, calling these high-level VP engineers in Silicon Valley in the tech world, kind of before the whole .com boom, and he knew what we were doing and what we were talking about was probably a little uncomfortable, and we're talking to folks that are often quite introverted, and so to put us out of our comfort zone, he would take us to restaurants. Once a month, we'd have these training dinners, and the training often involved saying something to the waitress like, "Oh, this table isn't good enough," and literally making us move 3 or 4 times.
Oh gosh.
Or this butter is too soft. And ironically, he never picked on me, because I think I kind of had that extroverted skill that these other gals that I was working with didn't have. They were all brainiacs. I brought the personality, I guess. They were the brains. But it was interesting that what he would do, but his work ethic was phenomenal. His storytelling was phenomenal. And we really, really worked with the best of the best. I mean, I worked with Google before it was Google. The founder of Sun Microsystems was one of our clients. So I was not realizing at the time in a world that was truly a forerunner, and to be a company based out of Bellevue, Washington, placing these executives was all because of this owner really knew how to get the right technology, get people excited. He knew that the .com thing was just a .com thing. He knew we needed to be dealing with real technology, real scientists, and really made a niche going after it and making us learn. So it was a constant education every day. So from all of those respects, he was great. And then just a whole other lot of crazy behavior. But I think there's a lot of geniuses that are like that. They are just crazy.
You could probably do a podcast on bad bosses.
He's crazy.
We could do a whole nother podcast.
He'd be my first.
Yeah,
He'd be my first. But I would also say I love him. So love, hate.
So what would you say your leadership style is, or has evolved to be?
Well, probably was cruise director. Let's just, cast a vision and sail away. Come on, everyone. Let's have fun doing it. Now, however, I'm trying to be more mindful. I'm trying to be quieter and listen more when I need to. I'm trying to be patient more. I am still failing in those areas for sure. But I think that I'm a visionary, and I think that often not all visionaries can master an executable plan, and I feel like I do that as well. I feel like with the right team and the right plan and strategy, can not only cast a vision but get buy-in, and folks that will come along enthusiastically and believe in what we're doing.
Well, and getting to know you a little bit, you're one of the most varied people that I know. And if everybody knew what Tara has done since whatever age to where you are now, there has been a lot of adventures along the way and a lot of different things that you have done, which when I've looked at it, has probably led you to where you are, because
Certainly.
you have experienced, and some of them you may talk about at some point in the podcast, and some of them you may not.
Yeah.
But if you could do anything, else, what would you want to do or be?
This might surprise people. I have always there's a part of me that is very much a researcher and loves uncovering something. Maybe that's the Nancy Drew detective book days. Maybe it's just that I do love data, and I love, like I said, I just really like uncovering stuff. So I'm currently getting my MBA through the University of Denver, and I chose Denver because they have an executive leadership track, which I'm very interested in, fostering leaders to be leaders, right? But I didn't realize I would get so excited about this whole business data and analytics side of the world. To realize that we're only utilizing 0.5% of all data that's out there right now is just this, opportunity brimming with all kinds of possibilities. So honestly, if I probably what I want to be when I grow up is a data scientist. I'm really enjoying learning about Power BI right now, and putting on presentations that take formulas and queries to be able to make, like we're working right now with the Johns Hopkins data of all the COVID cases, deaths worldwide, and plugging it all in a back end to then now look like a dashboard that is telling a story. So data storytelling, I think that this chamber world and our community is going to see this chamber doing more and more of that, helping businesses look at their data, tell their story with data, and you're going, to be seeing it with us. So I won't necessarily say an entirely different career change, but we'll certainly be wanting to learn more and flex that muscle more and more in the future.
And I think the thing with data being more on the accounting side and dealing with that is, you have the data, and you can even present the data, but what can you do to make change with the data? What can you do to go forward with the data? You can tell your story, but at the fair, if we do market research, it's okay. We get the market research back, and how do we use that data?
Absolutely, that's
to make change, which seems like that's where the hurdle is figuring
the
that
hurdle and the opportunity, right?
Exactly. Yes. So here at the chamber, what do you find most challenging about your role?
I feel that in our current role, we can move the needle very quickly. We can, make change at the chamber, show it to our members, and be really impactful and influential in our little chamber world. That being said, as the champion of business, so therefore the voice of business, which has that advocacy piece, that world does not move quickly. And, we could be advocating for something like this, gateway project with the transportation project getting the 167 freeway. That's been going on for 15 years, 18 years, and, almost had a hiccup, and now it's looking like it's back on track. So things that are important to region, that are business policies, don't move quickly, and you don't always have buy-in, and you don't always have folks elected in your local, county, and state levels that are business friendly. And so, as much as we try to do and will continue to do, we don't get to influence every time.
Right. And I think that's really important is, figuring out that you need a seat at the table, because when the day comes that, that seat becomes important at the fair, we've noticed that too, especially on the political side, that, it's you, if you're not part of the process, 10 years in advance, you can't expect to be at the table when the opportunity comes or when you need to be there. And it is a slow moving.
It is. And you can, there's a couple of ways. I mean, the best case scenario is really try to influence or convince, business-minded, sane-center kind of people to run for office, because the hurdle isn't as big when you already have, candidates that know what it's like to, what keeps you up at night as a business owner. And so, we're trying to develop candidate programs here with the chamber. We're trying to talk to our members about getting put on commissions and councils, again, so that we have allies from the get-go. We don't need to go in and make nice after they're there. We are putting the right people in those seats. So I think you'll see the chamber making moves in that direction as well.
All right. Okay, so do you work harder now third year CEO or when you first started?
It's a different kind of work hard, because you were drinking water from a
or
fire
just drinking,
hose.
plain
You were
drinking.
just plain drinking too to survive. And now I've added these other challenges, like school and such. I think that's an interesting question, because I know for me, I would ask that question of someone who's been at it for a very long time, and I would then want to uncover that question more from the standpoint of, we know what we do to try to prove our ground, get that job, and then what does that look like 5-10 years in? How motivated are you? Are you complacent? So I know sort of the derivative of that question. I would certainly say I'm still working just as hard, and again, adding that school component has kind of almost tipped me
over the edge.
But still working hard.
So, and I know that, here at the chamber, you're very into women leadership, and you started, you've started some things for women leadership, and one of them in the Blue Scar Society, and that has a mentorship component to that as well. And as the CEO, who do you turn to for work-related advice and matters?
One of them sitting about a foot away. I'm grateful your door has been open as much as it has been the last couple of years. A board perspective, a board mentor, a board friend is vital. And I don't know that all executives have a relationship or a person on a board that they could be that close to. There's probably often a purposeful wall that sometimes could even be built with a CEO on a board. So I'm very grateful for that. My husband, of course, gets the lion's share also of just processing and working through things or frustrations. But here on the job, on a daily basis, Lori Waltier is our VP of Communications and Culture, and probably my polar opposite also, where I'm going a mile a minute. She's the critical thinker that helps slow things down and makes sure, for liability's sake, for crossing your T's, dotting your I's sake, for contextual reasons that I'm thinking things through. So I value her opinion, and so just sometimes I think she's, I turn to her and talk to her about so many things that she's like, wait, do I need to decision this? What is? I said, no, you're just my sounding board. Just listen.
Yes.
Do you be Lori and just say what you would say, but you don't have to worry about, it's not a new thing I need you to do. Just be there.
And that's what I found too, is just letting people, they just need someone to talk to. They end up working through getting the answer to the problem.
Just by going through
by going through the process. And I know you and I have had a lot of great debates and back and forth, and really enjoyed that. So as much as you've come to me, I have come to you and learned so much. So that has been good. So what do you do for fun? And do you have to
Work is fun. I like, my husband and I have had a cabin for 15 years. We just sold, so we're definitely have a void in our life right now trying to replace that cabin, because, owning and operating a business and running the chamber and school is a full load. And so when you can get out of context, meaning get into the woods, get somewhere where things look different, smell different, are different, you can kind of put the phone down a little bit more and relax. So I'm really missing that. We I dirt bike and I golf and I, snowboard, or not, definitely don't snowboard. I wish I could snowboard. I can ski okay, but I'm not about snowboarding. But no, we snowmobile. The cabin we had, you actually had to snowmobile in. So I like a lot of those recreational sports. My girlfriends know I love wine tasting. I would say I love travel, but I just got off of 3 weeks of 1 week at a Denver immersion for my school, the second week at a wedding in Florida, and the third week at a chamber conference. And I still have 3 suitcases sitting on my floor. And I think there is a time in your life where home is good.
Feels good to be home.
I just want to be home. I love home. I love my dogs. I love my husband. I love my friends. I love my job.
Yes, I think that you're right. So what do you have to do that's not fun?
Clean up. Dog. Let me think. I was recently posed with a question in my schoolwork about challenging situations or feeling negative about this or what do you not like, and I have a really hard time with that. I'm pretty positive.
Yeah.
Maybe to a fault.
So your perspective is taking something, the glass is...
Yes. So I'm trying to think of what do I wake up and dread? What do I not want to do? I mean, there probably is, but it's, I even like cleaning. I don't have time to clean right now, but I guess that's not...
Oh, we're going to work on
what's
not fun with Tara.
I'm going to work on what's fun. Hannah will go, you just tell... She's going to be watching me.
Uh-huh. We're going to figure
Because you do not look like you're having fun right now, Tara.
Moments of not fun. So there's moments of not fun.
Yes.
I may know this one too. If you had to give one pro tip and one personal tip, what would those be?
Well, my personal tip is the Dyson Airflow.
I don't have it right now, but she's talked about it.
We don't have sponsors yet for this podcast. We will be looking for one, and I will be calling Dyson right off the bat.
And I will curl my hair.
I will curl my hair on this podcast. No, it's great. I just used it 2 seconds ago. I had to walk up my hill. I live in Salmon Beach. That's about 230 stairs or a hill to climb out of your house every day. And so quite often my hair needs a little refresh. And that Air Dyson, wow, it's a blow dryer and curling iron in one, and that is a fantastic personal tip, I would say. Pro tip, there's a lot of pro tips I would give. I like a strategy. I like a plan. I'm gonna I guess say, gosh, there's so many. Flex your arms for your networking. Roll out, go add to that robust Rolodex, because I have learned as a master collaborator that I don't need to know anything, but every contact I make along the way, I would be surprised if I'm not reaching out to you for something at some point. Mm-hmm. So I think just really working your network in a way that, is meaningful to them, to you. My husband has a great sort of saying and way that I try to lead my life too, as far as a professional tip, and that is, hold your head high and people will follow. Mm-hmm. And I think
you're leading into my next question, but that's okay because Mike said that, not you. So now you have to come up with your own.
Okay. I think that's a good professional tip, because I think it's easy. You can lose your cool. You can just again always hold your head high. There's things that are going to ruffle your feathers. It's something I do need to work on, is not reacting and trying to be quiet and demure in a situation that might be escalating. But I think in the long run, I think folks would look to us, our chamber, this team that we just, throw rocks, do what you must. We operate up here and really try to do so in a way and have certainly a nice membership following that.
And the membership has grown considerably since.
Yes. We have grown by about 200 members since I've been here. We have doubled our revenue. So I would say,
I thought you were going to say maybe on your, personal or pro tip is to wear a black turtleneck.
Oh, yes.
It's not coordinated, but this is the outfit of
when in doubt, go black. For sure.
So that is it. Now, do you have a favorite quote? And why? Now
you know what?
Your husband's, but
that is a quote I live by. That's for sure. Yeah. But I have literally used this quote 5 times this week.
Oh,
5, 6.
I'm a person of quotes. I can write it down. Let's see.
Well, I think it's Mark Twain who said it. But I was recently asked for 2 sentences for a editorial quote, And Mark Twain said, I don't have enough time to write 2 sentences, so I wrote you 2 paragraphs.
Oh,
and I think that's so important. I think that's true, because how hard is it to be concise and clear and to the point and poignant and intentional with so few words, where we can all mouth vomit all day long and write 2 paragraphs so easily. So I like that quote. I probably kind of botched it up a little bit, but you get the gist. I like that. I think we could all be more concise and intentional with what we say and the words we use.
So, Tara, what is sweet about you?
The C-suite. We are in the C-suite. And what is sweet about me is I truly get a high giving others opportunity and really helping them tap into their superpowers and to connecting them in a way that I know will change their life, provide them an opportunity that I know will change their life. Helping businesses. Sometimes what is such a hurdle to someone that they have knocked their head on over and over and over, I love uncovering that simple path or a person that I know that could change that for them. And we see this all the time here. Our whole staff does that. We're in a problem-solving role all the time. And that's a very rewarding, sweet spot, I would say.
Your other sweet spot, I would say, is with your dogs.
Oh my gosh,
absolutely
my dogs.
Love your relationship.
A pit bull, a Rottweiler, and a Chihuahua.
Yes, I have danced with one. I have
slept with one.
Slept with one.
Aww,
but that is, they're definitely members of your family.
They are.
They are actually members here at the chamber. They come to work. A couple of them.
They do. Gretel and Gino.
Yes. So we're so close to Valentine's Day here. Do you like sweets? Do you actually?
Ooh. I like wine.
I was going to say, not in the form of wine.
I like wine. I am not a sweets person. And I feel like I've married the Elfs, the family from Elf, where, it's candy canes, and candy corn.
Oh.
I have 4 stepdaughters, 4 granddaughters, and a husband that all love sweets. And I just don't.
That's not it.
Just wine. I like wine. Wine's my sweet.
No, there you go. So, I think they've already spoken of this, and I can already guess who this is. So if you say someone different, I'm going to be totally surprised. But who is your sweetie?
My sweetie is my husband.
Oh, that's good to know.
My sweetie really is my husband. Valentine's Day is coming up. I guess this is our special Valentine's Day podcast. But Mike Enneking is a fantastic guy. Business owner, visionary. He's that heart, looks you in the eye and tells you the truth, which is, probably the best thing you also could have in a partner, but supportive when I need it. Not the most empathetic, so I got that one right back at me. But yeah,
he's been at almost every chamber event. He's been schlepping. He's been in a tuxedo, whatever it requires. He's there by your side and supporting you, so we appreciate him too for all his contribution.
Thank you.
So what, do you have anything left of this first?
Hey, this first podcast was amazing. I'm starting to get the flavor and the sweet spot for where we're going to hit with this. So I appreciate that you're our very first guest host today. We'll definitely be on all the normal podcast channels, looking for sponsorships. We will also have an email that I don't know at the moment. I know we have a C-suite channel that you will be able to write and suggest different C-suiters that you would like to hear from in the community. But right now, I hope this was just a little bit of lessons learned from somebody that is an executive in our community. And, we'll continue to just evolve this. So, hey, thanks for being a part of the very first one.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm kind of liking this hosting job.
I know. You'll be back.
I feel like I'm a newscaster.
Yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to Carlos, and the company is Creative 24, and they are here in downtown Puyallup. They've done a lot of work for our chamber, and he's fantastic at getting us set up on this podcast. Miss Hannah Nelson has been behind the scenes in the technical, so hey, that's who I get to thank until we can get some sponsors for this gig, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us. Until the next C-Suite, take care. Enjoy your sweets.